Hi, boom, and just like that, we were live. Hi, everybody, welcome to the live stream. Wherever you're watching this one, whichever platform you're choosing to use, you're very welcome for the next 60 minutes or maybe a little more, just depends based on what I'm hearing and what the timelines are. So, we're going to talk about Boris Johnson. Yes, here we are, live from Downing Street. Well, almost. Well, we're certainly live, but maybe we're not in Downing Street. So anyway, we're going to talk about the whole Boris Johnson confidence vote and all of that. So we got all of that to talk about. So a warm welcome to you, and thanks very much, folks, for tuning in. Now then, I just want to make sure as we get ready for the next 60 minutes or so, just want to make sure I've got everybody. Whoops, everybody all sorted out. So just give me 1 second whilst I bring up on the stream the different streams. So let me just pop across here onto the Gettrs. Are we live on the Gettrs? I think we are. I recognize that person speaking on Gettr. Yeah, I've shut him up, my it's me. Don't want to hear myself twice. Hear myself once is enough. Hello, everybody. Hello, Melanie. Hello, John Gleason. Leslie Butler, good to see you. Chris Davies, my friend, very welcome to the stream. See you guys joining. Who's this? Matt. Hi, Matt. Matt wants to know whatever happened to my chats with Rebecca. Well, things change and things move along, and there we go. But I think you're talking about Rebecca Butler. We used to have chats. Of course, I'm always available to have chats in the future, but I think a little thing called COVID got in the way. Hi, Harry Johnson. Good to see you. And meanwhile, I see you guys warming up on the Gettrs. I see you, old Baz. COVID bollocks. Northern Monkey, Phil, Claude. Good to see all my friends here. Thank you so much. And thank you, who I know there will be people who watch this on the other platforms as well. Hello, Donny Girl. Aloha, y'all. Aloha, y'all. So all the way from Hawaii, all the way. Chris Davies sums it up pretty well. Butler went rouge. She went very COVID, didn't she? She went very COVID. But as I say, I wish her well. But things change, and such is life. Old Ba says, drain the Parliament swamp. Well, we're going to talk about the swamp. We're really going to talk about Westminster tonight. So I know lots of American friends watching this, but I'm sure you will be as interested as us Brits. Hi, Joe Cool. Good to see you as well, my friend, on the stream. You'll be interested in the events that are happening right now at the heart of the British political establishment, because as we speak, just going 8 o'clock, there's a confidence vote in the Prime Minister, in Boris Johnson himself, in the mighty Boris Johnson. A confidence vote. Leslie Butler. No, you're no relation to Rebecca Butler. In fact, in some regards, you are more sensible, Leslie. Much more sensible. Chris Davies. Well, we're going to talk about the greasy pig. Greasy pig. That's a nickname for Boris Johnson, you say. So we're going to chat about that. We're going to chat about this confidence vote. We're going to talk about the result. We're going to talk about what it means. We're going to talk about how we got here. We're going to talk about all of this stuff. All of this stuff. So I hope that is okay with you guys. Someone suggests we should replace Boris Johnson with a potato. I would agree with that in one regard, but then when I look to the White House, we've got a potato in the White House. Do we want another potato in Downing Street? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Hi, Nikki, my friend. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Ricky Rick, too. Good to see you. Lots of interesting theories floating about, which we're going to talk about. For example, could Boris Johnson be actually routed? Could he be defeated? Because with the World Economic Forum and the other globalist cabals, would they approve of that? Don't know. But we're going to get to all that one there. So hello, also hello to DJ Sharpie, my friend. Good to see you as well. Okay, so I think maybe to kick off with, I want to put up a little chart, which possibly will explain to everybody watching this exactly why we are where we are. So if we can bring up, first of all, this. Here we go. Boris Johnson's approval ratings from the middle of 2019, such a long time ago, until right now. And that's the people, the line that's important is really, well, both of them. The yellow line is people who thinks he's doing well, and the red line is people who think he's not doing well. Look at that. Isn't that fascinating? Hi, Vicky, by the way. Good to see you. Good to see you. I mean, at this point in time, Boris Johnson is slightly less popular than monkeypox, but more popular than COVID-19. I think that's a fair estimation. Have you seen that? Hello, Trumpiest girl. Great to see you here as well. Thank you for being with us this evening, this momentous political occasion when the UK could lose. As you see, a prime minister who's got a 26% approval rating. Now, actually, and again, American friends can tell me, um, is that BBC viewers? No. Nikki asks, so this poll, it's the source is YouGov. So it's one of these polling organizations. I don't trust any of the polling organizations. I think they're all part of this, the great scam. But for what it's worth, you can see. Now, look, have a look in this here, into this poll. And as you will look, follow the yellow line in particular. This was people thinking Boris was doing a good job. And from July, the summer of 19 to the end of 19, that's when he got into Downing Street. You see his popularity, it was rising. He was pretty well liked. And he shot up in January when he told us he'd got Brexit done. Look at that. Over 60% approval rating by the people. Yes, Nikki, I agree. YouGov is absolute trash, 100%. But then look, lockdown, March in the spring of 2020, and his approval level falls. And then you go through 2020, and his approval level sort of falls in the summer, rises a little bit in the winter, and then look at it in 2021. If we can take that comment off, please, just so I can see. Yeah, if we can see in 2021, basically throughout 2021, Boris has got less and less popular. You can see that? And those are low popularity ratings, and he's currently 26%. Now, look, I agree with Joe Cool. Boris is a pro-globalist New World Order, build back puppet. Completely agree with that. Yeah. The point about it is this, folks. The point about it is this, that as we've gone through 2021, Boris Johnson became increasingly unpopular. Hello, Kim, by the way. Good to see my friend Kim Erswell on the stream. He became less and less popular. And that's got consequences, because the reason for his unpopularity, ultimately, when we get to tonight, to right now, the reason for his unpopularity is this. It's really dead simple. It's because nobody trusts him, or the majority of people don't trust him. Only 26% of people have any confidence in him. Well, I'm sorry, but and you guys in the States have the same situation with Joe Biden. People as unpopular as this, they're not electoral winners. You know, they're not. Oh yeah, we're gonna. This guy's gonna really bring the bacon home, because they're not. Now, Nikki says, I believe he said he will call a general election. Nikki, that's Boris Johnson threatening his own MPs. That's what that is. I'm going to call in a general election. Well, call one, Boris. He's doing that because he knows that at this point in time, because of him, and many conservative seats that they got at the moment, they could lose those seats. They could actually lose those seats. And there was, I said, we're going to get into this. We're going to go through this. This is the anatomy of the decline of the rise and fall of a prime minister. This is what we're going to talk about, right? We're going to talk about this. DJ Sharper says, was the spike of approval about the time of his fake COVID hospital stay? Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Yeah, I wonder if we have that. Can we bring that chart up again, actually, just to see that one, Jed? That's the point. Because if you remember, Boris, Yeah, that's right, actually. If you look at that in March, that's when Boris was stricken down by the deadliest virus known to man, the deadliest virus known to mankind in the history of the universe, right? I'm on YouTube, by the way, so that's why I'm saying that. And uh, so he gained popularity and he was very ill and he was at death's door and then he recovered and the nation gave its thanks to him. That's that was the peak of it. But if you remember, this tyrant locked us down, took away our freedom, imposed all kinds of restrictions on our lives, brought them back again to a significant degree in late 2020 into 2021. And, as all you guys are saying, I'm 100% with you. He's a Kabbalist. He's part of, he's part of the, the whole thing, isn't it? The whole scam, whatever you want to call it. Ricky says, didn't they make hospital staff sign Official Secrets Act? Yeah, yeah, and that's right, Nikki. He was at a party a few days later because it's what happens. You're at death's door. You're in one of our most trusted NHS hospitals. Yeah, Leslie Butler. Yeah, it was a miracle. And lo, Boris rose from the almost dead. Hi, dinner lady, by the way. Good to see you on the stream as well. Thank you for being here. I have no idea what he was given, but I am not. I've got big questions about how well or how unwell he was. Hello, Sharon Montgomery, my friend from all the way from County Down. Good to see you here. And I should say, by the way, I trust everybody on the stream here enjoyed their 4-day platinum jubilee. I thought it was quite good fun, by the way, but it went on a bit, didn't it? It went on a bit. Rather like a particular celebration, which we will play towards the end of this. Yeah, we're going to play a very special video clip from you for you guys at the very end. So stick with it till we get our surprise video clip. Yeah, I mean, some people are wondering, was it the same Boris Johnson who went into hospital who came out of hospital? I don't know, but his reputation was shattered in 2021. And of course, remember, he came to power because he beat his chest like this and he said, I'm going to deliver Brexit. That's what he said. Now, he didn't deliver Brexit in the way that he said he would, hence the Northern Ireland Protocol, which some of you guys will know about, where he happily sold out part of the UK to get a deal with the EU. And that was a sign that Boris was not that all that you thought. So his popularity crashed during 2021. And then we got to know about Partygate. And Partygate this and Partygate that. DJ Sharpie says, I was in Scotland. No one gave a toss about the platting tubes. That's because you're all national SNP drones up there in Scotland. No, you're not. No, you're not. I know there's lots of sensible people in Scotland as well. Yeah, Leslie Butler points out, our ailing prime minister came out of hospital fatter than he went in. Yeah, I can explain that, Leslie. Have you ever? I mean, I'm sure most people in this who are British have been in NHS hospitals. Have you seen the food? Have you seen the food in NHS hospitals? I mean, it's quite possible that the food could make you fat. Hi, Ricky. Rick, thanks very much for the super chat, which are available to everyone. They delivered us. Yes, you're right. The treasonous WEF Brexit surrender treaty. That's right. We haven't got Brexit. So really important people get that. I know in the aftermath, Ricky, I would say to you that I thought we had sort of got it. But then as the negotiations went on and the protocol stuff came in, and then once the whole lockdown thing came in, it's all an illusion. If anyone out there thinks that we've left the EU, we are okay, Billy Piper speaks this. The Northern Ireland Protocol explicitly recognises that NI is part of the UK customs territory. Not a lot of people know that. Yes, but similarly, it recognises that Northern Ireland is also within the European Union jurisdiction. It's a very odd form of Brexit, Billy, that leaves part of the UK under EU jurisdiction, isn't it? And that's the point. That's the point. So yeah, Claude saying over on the Gettrs that yeah, Albert says he betrayed Northern Ireland. Yeah, he did. But here's the point, everybody, about Boris Johnson. He betrayed Northern Ireland. So what? He betrayed two of his wives. Two, not one, two wives. I think is he on his third wife or fourth? I've lost count of the number of wives he's on. But I'm sure the women on the stream will take on the streams will take a view of a man who serially betrays his partner. And that's what Boris Johnson did. And sometimes, I know people say, oh, you can't judge somebody in their, in their professional life based on their personal life. But I don't know. Sometimes you can draw certain things, you can draw certain conclusions. Ricky Rick says Australian style point system is a joke. A million. Oh yeah. A million. Oh, that's the other thing. That is the other thing. Great point, Ricky. You're in good form. We've had 1 million immigrants come to the UK last year. That's massive. That's massive. So, Spiver, you're right. We're still under EU jurisdiction. Boris Johnson has betrayed everything and everyone, apart from the people in power around him, the people in the cabinet, the ministers who hold their positions solely down to his munificence. So Alexander Cameron says, at least the wife is exposing what he did in GB News Christmas time, I believe, still on YouTube. Defo will watch for the fall of Boris. Yeah, you're being, of course, Donny Girl, I understand. I mean, in a way, the invasion of the US is worse than the invasion of the UK. But in both, well, but to be fair, Biden never really said he was going to protect US borders, did he? Boris Johnson got elected explicitly on the promise to take back control of our sovereignty and our borders, and he hasn't done that. So we got through 2021, and the Partygate thing kept sort of banging away. And Boris stood up in Parliament and said he had never ever been at any party, never been at any party. Remember that? Say that to Parliament. Now, if you lie in Parliament, that's a very serious matter. It's a very serious matter for any politician, in particular Prime Minister. You're not allowed to lie. Henry, Billy Piper says, Henry is born. Yeah, you're right, actually. Actually, that's a good analogy. Henry VIII, Boris VIII. What's the difference? Divorced. And then given exclusive and immutable legislative powers over the country. Hello, Big Vern, my friend, good supporter of my channels. Thank you very much for being here. Ultra Magascope in the East Village in New York City. From the East City in New York City to Hawaii to the UK to Limavady Ballykelly. Isn't that right, Big Vern? You're so many people here watching this. So back to Boris. So he said in Parliament he'd not been to any party. There's my friend Leslie Johnson on the stream. Leslie, great to see you. Thanks for being here and spending time. And my friend Lara 8, who is a really good account to follow on the Gettrs, on the Truth Socials. And thanks for your support on Truth Social, Lara, for trying to build up my small platform over there. I'm trying to get some truths out tonight as the UK waits to see, will we witness the fall of Boris Johnson tonight? Well, tonight UK time, afternoon. I think it's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, isn't it? God knows what time it is over in Hawaii. Donny Girl, I have no idea. It's always really early in the day. Thank you very much, Leslie. So back to the story. Chris Davies says Peter McElvenna is on the War Room tomorrow with Steve Bannon. Well done, Peter McElvenna, being on the War Room with Steve Bannon. But tonight it's David Vance we're talking about and his views on all of this. So that's why everyone's here, I think. Thank you, I wouldn't say I'm popular, but I'm more popular than Boris Johnson. 9:20 a.m. There you go. It's breakfast time in Hawaii, and it's judgment time for Boris Johnson. There we go. Billy Piper says 40 minutes until we find this was all much to do about nothing. I think you may be wrong, and I'm going to explain why. And I'm going to keep the story going so everyone gets the analysis right. So Boris stood up in Parliament and said, no, I wasn't at a party. And you know the rest of it. Then it became apparent, yeah, he was at a party. And then he said, well, I didn't know it was a party. So therefore, when I said I wasn't at a party, I was being truthful. It's just, yeah, people were drinking. People were, I think there was music. People were certainly having food. They were having drinks, lots of alcohol. And Boris didn't know that was a party. He did not know that was a party. And honestly, such is the arrogance of these politicians that he thought he could get away with that. But he hasn't got away with that. He hasn't. Albert makes a comment here. Can anyone think of anything positive Johnson has done in the last 30 months? No. The only thing I would say, positive thing, going into hospital with COVID was possibly the most constructive thing he done, insofar as at least he was out of it for a couple of weeks and we all had a bit of a break. Donegal says, what defines a party? They might ask. Well, absolutely. This is, Donegal, this is how politicians work, right? They work on the basis that they will argue how many angels could dance on the head of a pin. That's politics 101, which is why I want nothing to do with it myself. I liked facts. Look, he was at a party. And it turns out he was at several parties. And the killer thing, hi, John Mercer, by the way, good to see you. The killer thing for Boris Johnson, and the reason this is happening right now, tonight, is because it subsequently, well, at a time when Boris Johnson was telling people in this country, stay at home, don't go out, don't go and visit. Don't go and visit your relative. Donegal says, like, what's a woman? Yeah, well, Donegal, I mean, how can we tell what a woman is? I got a pretty good idea. Adult female, before anyone accuses me of sexism. Woman. So he made the rules and he wasn't paying any attention to them. And I've got a secret for all of you guys. None of them do. If you think politicians actually think that the rules that they make are for them, no. The rules that are made are for you and me, not for them. Not for them. They don't give a toss about the rules. There's an arrogance that comes from these people, which is why I despise them so much. Northern Monkey says they make the rules, they know the loopholes. But in this case, Northern Monkey, it wasn't a loophole. He was at a party with loads of other people. Several parties, in fact, not one. Partygate became this is a guy, we were being told, hey, Claude, I don't know about that, but I'm not watching Sky News. I don't watch fake stream media news mostly, which saves my sanity a little bit, I think. But anyway, thanks, by the way, for everyone on this stream. Thank you so much for being here with me. So ultimately anyway, Boris was exposed in the media for what's been called Partygate. And that caused a lot of unhappiness amongst his fellow MPs. Because as Boris Johnson's popularity has cratered, so has the Conservative Party popularity. It's cratered as well. And what we had local council elections throughout the UK in May. The Conservative Party lost hundreds of seats. There was also a couple of by-elections, and they lost at least one, I think maybe two of those by-elections. Now, up until this point, people were saying, Boris, he's an election winner. You got to stick with him. He's an election winner. Hi, Andrew, my friend. Good to see you. Lara, you're right. These people will never follow their own rules. It's the same. Look, we've seen it in the States with you guys. Hi, Greg Gillette. Good to see you back, catching me finally live. By the way, thanks everyone who enjoyed the live stream I did on Saturday, where I thought I turned it off, but the camera kept rolling and you all got exclusive footage of a shopping trolley that I was pushing to my car boot with half a dozen bottles of wine in it. That was an exclusive for everybody. But Lara, the point is that, we've seen it in the States as well. We've seen it with Pelosi. Look at Pelosi. Everyone, wear a mask, or you're all going to die. And then she heads off to the hairdressers. No mask. Oh yes, we've seen that. We remember that. We know about all of these political fakes. We know all about them. And actually, Big Vern makes a point here. They are all globalists, and we sit on the edge of global annihilation through a nuclear war. You're right, my friend. You're well. I mean, if you listen to my podcast, and I know you guys do, I talk about this because it's worrying times. It's worrying times. But anyway, back. So his popularity has become, a real problem, and the party's popularity has become a problem, which brings us more or less to where we are, because we kept being told there's going to be a leadership rebellion against him. This is back in January, February, right? And at that point, I think a lot of the Conservative MPs in Westminster thought to themselves, yeah, do you know something? Maybe we need a change of leader. And what happened? Ukraine happened. Look over there, everybody. Look over there. Look, the Russians, Putin's invading. And Boris has played this one for all he is worth. Oh yes. Look, I'm a wartime leader. I'm like Churchill. You can't unseat me. You can't possibly unseat me. Because just checking a few things here. Let me just check a few things, folks, making sure everything's okay on the technical side of things. I've just just trying to check a few things here and talk, which is like really, really difficult. Let me just try this. Think got a little technical problem. Think I can solve the little technical problem. Right. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry if the picture quality is a little bit less than ideal, but I am now clear. So I'm going to bring our producer on in a second, Jed, because he and I want to chat this one through. But so they were going to unseat him back in January, February. There was a mood to get rid of him. Then Ukraine came along, right? Ukraine came along, and for the last 3 or 4 months, I mean, he's on the phone every day to Zelensky. I mean, frankly, at this point, he's a phone pest. If I was Zelensky, I would block Boris Johnson. Yeah, well, then again, if I was Zelensky, I don't know what I would be doing. I have no idea. I know, dressing up in drag and being an actor. Is that what wartime leaders do in Ukraine these days? DJ Sharpie says, keep calm and blame Putin. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So he's been trying to distract everybody with Ukraine, and then he and the rest of the cabalists imposed the sanctions on Russia, which caused energy prices to go through the ceiling, right? And then he turns around and says, "Oh, you have got to trust me. I'm gonna have to deal with the cost of living crisis." But you caused it. It's the same with Joe Biden. These guys caused the fact that if you go to the pumps to fill up your car, it's going to cost a fortune. If you've got if you're buying oil or gas, colossal amount. But the responsibility isn't Putin. It's the Western governments. It's the Western governments that are to blame. Now, Billy Piper makes a brave comment. He says, there will be a general election in May 2023, 4-year parliament after fixed term repealed. Nobody wants another Christmas election. Boris will fight it and win it. I bet you a tenner. Well, I'm not a betting man, but for Boris to fight it and win it, Boris has to be the prime minister, Billy. So you're making that big assumption. Chaz talks about over £8 or $8 a gallon, or it's really, really expensive. So therefore, he tried to distract everyone with Ukraine. Look at Ukraine. Look over there. Cost of living crisis. Look over there, right? And then we've had the Royal Jubilee, the Jubilee celebrations for the past 4 days. And all the time, and this is where it gets interesting, this is where it gets spicy now. All the time, what was happening was letter after letter after letter from Conservative MPs demanding a confidence vote in this Prime Minister. We're going into the 1922 committee, right? And that had to hit 54 for there to be this confidence vote, which has just happened, okay? And that happened, but because of the Jubilee celebrations, they held back on it until 9 a.m. or 7 a.m. this morning or whenever it was announced. So that brings us pretty much up to date in terms of where we, of why we are where we are. Jed, would you like to come in? I've tried to sort of plot the anatomy of this one as we've gone through it, and I want to. Hi, Jed. You're looking good. Obviously, you've had your booster shot.
Well, yeah, absolutely, David. And I thought rather than just have Jed, I'd have a real life picture of me.
Looking good.
What I look like.
Yeah, you're looking good. Yeah, that's why we like to show you on the stream, Jed. Because
absolutely.
It's a bit like that strange character that's popped up. I don't know who he is on my Gettr Visions stream.
Yeah, it looks a bit like Green.
Green.
Yeah.
He's green.
I've seen him. I've caught him a couple of times, David. Yes.
He's green. But just like you, Jed, I mean, he's an enthusiast for the jabs, and because he knows that he likes to put these things out on the Facebooks and elsewhere, he apparently thinks that the jabs are fantastic. But we're not talking about jabs tonight, YouTube. Don't worry about it. We're not putting out anything about jabs. But Jed, back to Boris Johnson. So look, so I've tried to summarize from basically summer of 2019 until tonight. And I wonder, is there anything else you wanted to add or that I've left out around that?
I don't think you particularly left anything out, but there was a comment, and I did stick it up, about the booing. And I know it's been commented a couple of times on some of the different streams. With your say so, David, what I did, I've taken the BBC's version of Boris booing, and I've taken Sky News' version of Boris being booed, if you see what I mean. And I've put them both together so we can see a contrast and see how the British Broadcasting Corporation, the one that is supposed to support the country, people's views, support the government, support the taxpayer, because we're paying for it, of course. I thought I'd put them both together so we get the contrast. So if you don't mind, David, I'll just play these.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But the Queen welcomes them as someone they're part of her family.
The Prime Minister just arriving with his wife.
It's quite booing in the crowd there.
Well, and you can hear it. There is really quite a lot of booing, actually.
Wow.
A substantial amount.
Didn't see that coming. That's quite a moment.
The great thing about this building is you will hear what glorious music comes out of its apses.
Okay, there you go. Prime Minister. I'm just going to pause to hear the crowd.
So my view on that, David, is I think the BBC set themselves up near a crowd, or put some microphones near a crowd that didn't like Johnson, that probably had placards, etc. Where I think, I hate both BBC and Sky. They are garbage. They are not news channels, they're propaganda channels, and I despise them. But I think Sky just got a general crowd noise. And in that Sky version, there was some booing. Not saying there's not, but there was also cheering. Now, having watched Michael Havers this evening, he was reporting on a poll, and I know polls are polls, but he was reporting on a poll that I think it was either 53 or 59% of the country still support Boris to be leader.
Well, more full them is what I would say.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but you've got to take. I think you've got to take what the BBC do with a massive pinch of salt.
Yeah,
and Sky.
I would imagine that's probably BBC staff doing the booing, Jed. I mean, BBC is absolutely digital cancer as far as I'm concerned. I have nothing but contempt for the BBC, and it is interesting, Jed, because I hadn't heard them back to back like that.
That's why I did it. I thought that'd give a good contrast.
Yeah. And I think as somebody said here, Billy Piper says microphones can be very directional. So maybe the BBC had their mics turned towards a bunch of anti-monarchists or whatever, or whatever. And
I'm not saying he didn't get booed, David. Don't get me wrong. And I think there is an agenda, certainly at the BBC, perhaps only slightly less at Sky, definitely more at Channel 4 and ITV. They're all cancer. All media are cancer.
Yeah, I mean, Republican Rocker, my friend over on the Getterverse, says the BBC is the equivalent of CNN. Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, no, I get that. Absolutely.
And Nikki says, and get who, David? They're literally all useless. Well, they are. And see, this is the point, Jed. This is the point. So we need to talk about then, sort of to move it on. But hang on, just in my head. The BBC is watched by a lot of people, Jed. I wish it wasn't, and happily, fewer and fewer people do watch, but it still runs into millions, millions of views. Their coverage of the Jubilee celebrations where it was extensively watched. So a lot of conservative voters and conservative politicians would have seen what you just played, Jed, their prime minister and his sidekick, Carrie Antoinette, being booed. They would have seen that. And they would have just taken that at face value, So
just also think about the people who are predominantly conservative, and we're talking the 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, and they will only watch the BBC. They won't watch the other channels. They won't have Sky News, for example, because they won't. And I know I'm making a big assumption here, but they're less likely to have digital Sky, Sky TV.
Yeah,
they're probably watching digital TV, but it will be, the standard free-to-air channels, and the BBC will be the main news channel.
But a lot of those older people that you're talking about are core conservative voters. So they will have looked this, they will have heard the boos. And again, that's part of what's precipitated this crisis, where clearly there's a move to unseat Boris Johnson. And that really brings us, I suppose, into the sort of where we are now.
I do apologize. Sky News is on preview.
Yeah. So yeah. Happily, I don't watch it whether it's on preview.
You see, David, I don't know if you're going to go to it, but I did send you some tweets, and I do have them here, because it is funny with the Conservatives when they decide they're going to turn on the leader. Yeah, they then turn on everybody. They stab everybody in the back. And what I'm referring to, if you want me to hold off, I'll hold off, David.
No, absolutely fine. Yeah, but Jed, that's a great point. These people are like rattlesnakes in a bag, and they will all try and strike each other when stuff gets real, so to speak, and that's what's happening. So actually, to bring everyone up to date in terms of where we are right now, if you can bring those tweets up there, Jed, because this is Nadine Dorris. Now, Nadine Dorris owes her position to Boris Johnson, right? Nadine Dorris, who's trying to limit our freedoms here on the interzooms by her online, her online hate bill or whatever it is.
Marxist bill. Oh, sorry, no, yeah, you're right.
That one, yeah. So this is so here's the thing, folks. You'll see, as Jed's put up, this is an exchange between Nadine Dorris, who's a current minister, care of Boris Johnson, and she's tackling Jeremy Hunt. Now, Jeremy Hunt is currently the bookies' favourite to be the successor to Boris Johnson. So you need to understand what's happening here. But this is in full view on Twitter, Jed, isn't it? I mean, this is...
Oh, absolutely. This was out first thing this morning, I think, within minutes. In fact, does it give a time when it went out? 11:51. So what? A couple of hours after the announcement?
Yeah. And as you can see, she's getting stuck in, and she's saying, when I was health minister in 2020, you telephoned me to tell me that we had to handle a pandemic following the example set by the East China. The people testing positive should be removed from their homes and placed into isolation hotels for 2 weeks. Yeah.
But it doesn't end there, David, does it?
Keep going then, yeah.
Here we go. It goes again.
I think, as you can see, do you reckon Nadine was on maybe a bit of post platinum Jubes bubbly?
She was on something, David. but you can tell she despises Jeremy Hunt, and I think she's right to
Yeah, yeah.
despise him, because I think one of the points she does make was about, and I'm just trying to find it. It's in one of these tweets here about Jeremy Hunt supporting China's version. There you go.
Yeah.
You said your wife's family had experience of this during the SARS. I said that the British people would never tolerate being removed from their homes and loved ones, at which point you demanded I show you evidence for that. Your handling of the pandemic would have been a disaster. But it goes on to mention she did mention the fact he wanted the China model of people just, being taken out of their homes and locked away.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Jeremy Hunt, for those watching, is one of those politicians whose surname, if you mispronounce it, is actually probably quite an accurate description of him, because he is an appalling character, an absolutely appalling character. Oh, sorry. Wow, echo. Sorry, folks. Just getting echo. I don't know why I'm getting echo.
Well, just while you're working that one out, I think the last point that she made is a good one as well. Just while you sort your sound out, David.
Yeah.
And she goes on to say, you told others that PM and government would swiftly collapse on the back of Brexit and you would swoop in. You told me as much in Victoria Street after the general election. If you had been leader, you'd have handed the keys of number 10 to Corbyn. You've been wrong about almost everything. You are wrong again now. Now, if that's not damning.
Oh, yeah. But Jed, that's deliberate. Nadine Dorris is in the Boris Johnson camp. She is deliberately getting, as I think I said to you earlier today, a preemptive strike in against... I don't know where this is coming from, folks. Sorry, I'm being distracted by feedback. Right. Jed, do you want to just take over for a second?
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, just looking at some of the comments, here we go. We got Ricky with whilst she's taking away our freedom of speech, and making Marxist BBC Sky arbitrators of what's real news. He's right. She's trying to take her freedom of speech and then slag off Jeremy Hunt for his taking away our freedoms. They're all as bad as each other, David. They're all from the same camp.
Yeah,
and we don't matter. That is the point. So, Johnson falls. Let's say he falls later tonight, or maybe now. I don't know. I haven't got Twitter or anything up.
20 minutes time, we'll know.
But, the point is, whoever replaces Johnson will be as bad as Johnson.
Yes. I agree. But isn't that an indictment on the entire political system? I mean, El Rizzle here says Nadine Dorris, another lying criminal and globalist. You're right, 100% right. Of course she is. That's why
because they've all been to the WF School of Government.
Well, they certainly do not serve us, the people. That's the point in this one. Nikki asked what time is the result. Nikki, it's in about 15 minutes time. 20 minutes time. It's due around about 9 o'clock. So by that point, we will have hopefully dealt with the other runners and riders, because 18 minutes apparently we have to go, Jed. I'm sure we can manage that. We have Jed. There are some of the characters who are being talked of as potential replacements for Boris Johnson include the person Jeremy Hunt, Cockney rhyming, slang and all that. Jeremy Hunt. We've got, and then I saw somebody mentioned her name, Liz Truss. I think we got Liz Truss. Yeah, Liz, who thinks she's really sexy piece of, she really fancies herself. Liz Truss, we've got as another potential person. But there's the most salient point, actually. You see, in this one, and this is Billy Piper answers your original question. Boris can win, and I think he will win this, but he will lose. He will lose because he will be damaged. So I don't think we are going to see, I think, have we got a link there, which I think does rattle through some of those potential candidates for filling in, should Boris decide that he's not much loved and therefore he has to resign shortly. But if you want to go and have a look at that, but the point is,
I'll go and check that, David. You carry on.
yeah. So the point is, we got people like Liz Truss. We got people like Jeremy Hunt. We've got. I mean, this is why these people are all rattlesnakes. They really. I mean, ultimately, you know, as somebody once famously observed, if you want to get a friend in politics, get yourself a dog, because there are no friends in politics. Don't believe that they are. Northern Monkeys projecting, talking about Michael Gove, Jacob Rees-Mogg. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Although, I mean, the inspiring minds. Hi, good to see you, by the way. Here, great to see you here. Inspiring minds. Yeah, Theresa May. I mean, she survived a confidence vote, but 6 months later, she was gone. And my point about this is the very fact that there is a confidence vote is hugely damaging to Boris Johnson, because there has got to have been at least 54 letters gone in. And that's the people who were prepared to put their, you know, put their name to the letter. This confidence vote that happened between 6 and 8 p.m. tonight was anonymous, folks. So nobody really knows. Nobody knows. And the way it will work, and honestly, this is my experience of politicians. All those, 350 or whatever it is, Tory MPs, they will have all gone in, cast their vote, and when they've come back out again, they will swear blind, I voted for Boris. Oh yes, I voted for Boris. But here we are. Here is a. Now, I should have warned Jed. You should have warned people about.
Oh, this. Sorry. Yeah, we need to put a warning on it, don't we? Yes. Graphic content.
Yes, I think so. I'm sorry, everyone, if this has upset you, but here we are. Yes, Jed, excellent work done here. These are the runners and riders, so you can see them all. Now, there's only one of them that I quite like a little bit. Jeremy Hunt at top left, Liz Truss looking mean and moody. Sorry, that's not Jeremy Hunt in the top.
No, that's not.
That's is that Tom
Broganshire or something like that? Is it? I'm sure the chat will correct us.
Yeah, it's okay, everyone. This is a good test for everyone. Anyone? Quick, who's that in the top left-hand corner? We don't know. So he's got no chance of winning. Liz Truss, the lovely Liz Truss. Jeremy, you know what? And then Nadine Zahawi, the health minister. He looks a cheery fellow. Rishi Sunak. I'm afraid Rishi is no longer popular, so it's not going to be him. Then you've got the absolute, I can't even say the word, the Armed Forces Minister in the second bottom. And then you've got Penny Mordaunt, who I like. I used to like Penny Mordaunt. And then I think we've got, that's another globalist on the far right underneath as well. So
it was Tom, however you pronounce that, the top left.
Yeah. There's so look, this is the rose cat, and this is Boris Johnson's greatest advantage. You just look at that horror show, absolute horror show, and that's what Boris is going to say. Look, stick with me, folks. Stick with me. None of these other people. Yeah, Tom Thumb is right, actually. None of these people are going to be able to lead the party to victory in 2084.
But you see, David, the sort of people I think the people on this stream would like are people like Baker, but he's not. He won't run.
No,
you know, is it Tom Baker? Steve Baker. Steve Baker
from Wickham. Yeah.
You know, so people like him won't run. And that's the problem. The people want a particular politician, but they're the ones that are not running. This is the dross that we get.
Well, our friend obviously says over in the Gettr stream, he says, "Can a bald guy be president?" I would counter that by saying, "Can an insane guy be president?" And we know the answer to that in the US. Yes.
Don't. He was fortified. Remember,
fortified. 100%.
Fortified.
100%. And remember, just Jed, as we're very particular in this platform to say how much we love the jabs, we also love the absolute integrity of the 2020 US election, friends. Remember, that's what we said. Hi, YouTube. So, Tom Baker was Doctor Who. That's right, Billy Piper. Actually, he would have made a better, Billy, he would have made a better Prime Minister than Boris Johnson. So So those are the runners and riders. I mean, they're all, as everyone's figured out in the stream. You see, that's why, Jed, we have the most discerning of people who come along and listen to us. You guys all see it. You see through all this. There's nobody. Ricky says the country's begging for a patriotic party. Steve Baker's lost all integrity. He praised the Brexit surrender treaty. Oh, yes. He also was, by the way, just FYI, Ricky, he's got a very diverse constituency, especially in the western part of it, which I'm very familiar with. And he doesn't like to say things that might upset the people that live in that community. But we're not going into that there. Vivian says all of the UK Parliament is compromised. I think that's more or less right. I think that's more or less right. I think there's maybe a couple of, I mean, out of 650 MPs, Jed, I think there's a handful that frankly are.
And that's a shame when there's so many, over 650 plus,
yeah.
isn't there?
Yeah.
And you're talking about a couple. Like just 600. Labour is barking. Labour can't define what a woman is. Okay. Although 5 years ago they would be able to, because they were all for women's equal pay. Well, if there's no such thing as a woman, well, then we can't have equal pay between men
Sadly
and women,
not.
can we?
Sadly not.
And anyway, why don't they declare themselves men, and then they'll be paid the same? Or men can declare themselves as women and be paid the same as women. Oh yeah, that's it. They do get paid the same because that's what the law says. The
That's
fact
right.
that women earn less is because they do less hours. Sorry. That's facts. Sorry, David, I'll stop.
Yeah, because we don't want to divert too much off topic. No, never mind that. So the point is, anyway, so here's the point. The moment of the vote is coming very close now, folks. We're getting very close to this one. And the thing is that I expect, Jed, that Boris Johnson will win this vote. There needs to be I think it's 180 MPs have to vote against him for him to be. That's not going to happen, I believe. That's not happening. I don't think, I'll be shocked if it is, but I mean, who knows? If less than 180 vote for, a vote against him, then he will be declared the victor, and that means there won't be a challenge for 12 months. That's the way the things work here, folks, so that you understand this. So the number we're looking for is how many Conservative MPs will actually have voted against him. And I reckon, Jed, that if that number, it has to be more than 54. By definition, it has to be. So, because that's the number of letters that have gone in. So therefore, if that number, I think, Jed, is over 100, I think he is a wounded animal. So as a wounded, Billy Piper's saying 50. So actually, Billy, you think some of the people who have put in letters demanding a confidence vote actually will then vote in favor of the Prime Minister? And I'm not sure that you're right about that. We the people, by the way, over in the Gettr saying, I don't believe you Brits are putting up with the transgender stuff. I'm afraid we are, and we maybe need to do more stuff on that one, but certainly not on the YouTubes. So Jed, that's the number, what we're waiting for in 6 minutes time.
I've got it live here, David. So if we leave that up on the screen, we'll see it.
Brilliant.
As it comes in.
Okay, folks. So here we have. So this is the number. So we're going to wait to see if it's 80 or 90. Even then, he's still damaged, because whether you like it or not, that is still a third of his parliamentary party voting against him. Billy is now gone up to 62. Hey, Billy, this is inflation in your forecast.
Look what happened to Theresa May. Theresa May won the confidence vote, and then within 6 months, she was out.
Yeah.
Because although he might win tonight, I agree with the comment earlier, he will lose.
Well, the other thing, exactly, Jed, and the other thing is, as somebody also pointed out in the stream, we have got this incredible surging inflation. We've got this energy bomb that's detonated where people can't afford to heat their homes when we come to the winter. We've got all of this crisis ticking away in the background, and that's going to be blamed ultimately on the government. And whilst Billy Piper says, will we have audio? No, you won't have audio, because you've got to listen to me.
We're talking over the top of it, Billy, and it's not Jedward, okay?
Yes, that's right. Yes. Yeah, you've been reproved.
You've been told.
Yes. Dilly Piper, you've been told, you've been warned. So anyway, so we're going to watch this for the next few moments. But so I reckon, Jed, if it's 100 or more, he is dead in the water, but it might take 6 months to get him out because he doesn't want to leave. He does not want to leave. They love it.
Right, I'm just going to throw something at you. Let's say he wins and it's a close vote. So I've just said with Theresa May, yeah, she won and she was out in 6 months. I think the only way he would not be out in 6 months is to give the British public what they believe they voted for in 2019 when they voted for him to give him the 80-seat majority. And that is stop illegal immigration completely, fix the Brexit issue with Northern Ireland, i.e. Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom. And if there's any sort of trade border, then it should be with the Republic of Ireland, and solve the fuel crisis by getting rid of the green taxes on all fuel, because that's 25% that you could take off your fuel bills instantly.
But
some of those things could save him.
Yeah, but he won't do any of those. He won't do any of those.
No, because his wife won't let him.
Well, I would say Klaus Schwab won't let him. I would say Bill Gates won't let him. I would say WEF and all of the other Kabbalists won't let him. And he's one of them. He is one of them. So Jed, it's really interesting what you're saying there in terms of can he save himself? I don't think he can. Donny Girl says, who will take over if Boris is out? Well, Donny Girl, I have to reveal at this point, I am prepared to put my hat in the ring. So if the Conservative Party want someone with us,
would you all vote for David, guys?
Trying to lead them. Someone who will restore Jed our sovereignty, who will stop the boats in the Channel, who will take all green taxes off everything and imprison the green these kind of anarchistic type people. I do all of that. Just that would be before breakfast, actually, by the way. So yeah, the question is, we've been asked here, how many votes does he need? He needs 180. And Inspiring Minds, your great comments, by the way, he's got 140 on the payroll. So that's why I'm saying it's kind of impossible for him to lose. It's impossible for any prime minister to, unless they're incredibly unpopular. And Boris is not that incredibly unpopular, but he can be heavily wounded. And that's what we're waiting to see here, guys. Is
to be honest, David, I'm sorry to jump in, but I think this whole process is wounding. It's wounded him anyway. Irrelevant. It could be 20 people that vote against him. He's wounded because that's 20 people within the Conservative Party that are either in the cabinet or in some sort of role for the government that he's then got to push to one side and replace with others. Those 20 will then constantly vote against him.
Yeah, and that's why, even despite the big majority that he won in 2019, this Conservative government will run into real problems. But as I say, just remember this, folks, what you're witnessing on the screen is a nest of vipers. I'm not talking about Jed and myself. I'm talking about what you're seeing inside. This is live feed from inside Parliament and inside the Commons, House of Commons. So you're going to see this as it flashes up live, which, as I say, should be in the next couple of minutes. But when someone said to me, Jed, earlier, do you think the likes of the WEF would allow Boris Johnson to fall? And my answer is, well, if they will, if he can be replaced with another globalist. What do you think?
That's it. There's so many globalists to choose from. You know, so yes, they will let him fall because they know they've got hundreds of globalists sat there ready to take his seat.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Jed. And that's why, I mean, some of you guys are saying, I see the comments coming in that the vote is a meaningless distraction. In a way it is. In a way it is. But I mean, I've got to be honest. Before we say this, I would love it if he lost, but he won't lose. but I would love it equally if he is seriously damaged, because the only way, Jed, and you put your finger right on this one, the only way out of this would be if this government started to govern as a conservative government, not as just another just another sort of globalist woke progressive.
That's the problem. We now don't have, even in the United States,
Nope.
there is.
Here we come. Here we come, Jed. Big moment. Big moment.
His paper. Let's listen.
I can report as returning officer that 359 ballots were cast, no spoiled ballots, that the vote in favour of having confidence in Boris Johnson as leader was 211 votes, and the vote against was 148 votes. And therefore, I can announce that the Parliamentary Party does have confidence.
Right. Wow. 148. Billy Piper, I think you owe me a tenner. You owe me a tenner, Billy Piper.
Pay up, Billy. Get a super chat. 10 quid. Come on.
Yeah. Super chat, Billy Piper, available right now.
You always.
So there you have it, friend. So you understand, guys, what's just happened. 148 is getting on for Jed. It's certainly more than 40% of the party has voted against him. His own MPs has voted against him. That is much worse than I thought. 100. It's 148. Inspiring minds, you're right. That is massive against him. So he didn't lose, folks, but he came within. Quick mental math here. 148. He needed. Are we bringing some numbers up? Yeah. Sorry. So I've just got the numbers here. Yeah, 63. So what that means, guys, is he came within a narrow majority of, what is that, 250?
Well,
about 32.
32 away from being ousted.
Yeah, that's incredible. That is incredible. El Rizzle, you're right. Dead man walking. Albert Clutterbuck, huge blow to him. Inspiring minds, massive number against. This is so. Jason O'Brien said, "Is it bad?" Yes, it's really, really bad. Now, Jed, first thing that comes into my mind, can he carry on? Because that's about 45% of the party against him. His own MPs in Westminster want rid of him. Yeah. So surely he is now, like has been said here by Kim, our friend Kim, dead man walking. What do you think, Jed?
I think you're absolutely right. But I tell you what we're going to see over the next couple of days, cabinet reshuffle, because some of those votes will be sat in his cabinet.
Yeah.
Some of those votes will be in other key, not necessarily cabinet jobs, but other key roles. And I think there's going to be a massive reshuffle over the next 7 days, something like that. And because although it's an anonymous vote, you will know by the people that spoke out publicly.
Yeah.
You will know, and those people will be pushed aside. And that is the problem. You've got 148 of your own party that now will constantly vote against you, and actually vote with Labour against you.
Well, as enemy of the state has worked out, Jed, thank you for doing this for us. That's 41%. 41%.
That's massive, David.
It is massive. Honestly, that is a really bad result.
Even 30% or plus is a massive kick in the proverbials.
Oh, completely,
But 41%. Thanks for working that out. But 41%.
Yeah, thank you. My calculator is beyond reach here, so I'm glad someone else was able to do it. So, old Baz, he's not going to be sorting. Boris Johnson will not be sorting out immigration, I'm afraid. He's going to keep bumbling on. And what's he going to come out now? He'll come out and he'll say, "Listen, lesson learned. I'm very sorry, and now we need to move on." Now, Rick says, Jed, reaction coming in here, probably Gove and Trust voted against him. I would say, Ricky, possibly more than Gove and Trust. I would say there's loads of fellow vipers around the cabinet table, and they would have been part of that 41%, I would have thought.
Well, all the contenders that we showed earlier, David, would be part of that 41%. Some of them were ministers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
If you're throwing your hat into the ring to say, I'll run for leadership if this goes, against Boris, then you must be voting against him to think you've got a chance.
Well, I think, folks, the way we can sum this one up is that this is a massive blow to Boris Johnson. Do not let the media spin it for you into, it's another triumph. It shows that Boris is a winner. This is his own MPs, and 41% of them said go. Now, Jed, you're quite right. That 41% isn't going away. It's not going anywhere. In fact, the chances are that their numbers will be augmented as we go through the rest of 2022. So I think he is a fatally wounded animal. Chris Davies, earlier on at the beginning of the stream, our good friend and supporter Chris Davies said that the greasy, I don't know if Chris is still on, but he talked about the greasy pig. I think that's the nickname, isn't that they give Boris Johnson, because he always seems to just squeeze his way out of things. You can't quite catch him. If you've ever tried catching a piglet or whatever, you'll know what I mean. I think that's a greasy pig. I think is that what they call him. Yeah, there's a comment. Chris Davies said he will survive. He's survived, but can he endure is the bigger question, Chris. And in my opinion, I think that he is very, very badly wounded. Now, I agree with some of the other comments, Jed. There's a few people saying here, look, this is all a bit of an illusion, it's a distraction. Look, I agree with that. I get all of that, and I go on about that enough myself. You know what my views on all of this stuff is. But it's still interesting to see that here we have a prime minister, and he's only been in place, Jed, for less than 3 years, and 41% of his party's voting against him. I mean,
but again, David, just think of that poll that McAvers, or whatever he's called, came out with earlier. I think it was either 53 or 59% of the UK population are in support of Boris. So although the party might hate him, I'm not sure the vast majority of the country hates him, or hates him as much as his own party hates him.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I hate him with a vengeance because he locked us down. He put in the COVID restrictions. He's ignored immigration. He's got us involved in a potential World War III. So that's good enough reasons for me to hate him. Of course, Jed, that's not to say that I support Labour in any way or any other of the major parties, Lib Dems. I despise all of them, a plague on all of them, so to speak. But the thing is that this will now, Jed, embolden those who see themselves as future prime ministers. This will make Liz Truss she'll be floating into unless she's sacked, of course, into Downing Street the next time you see her, because these people will see Boris is wounded, and they're like politicians are like sharks, Jed.
But that's it. They'll start now nibbling away at him, won't they? Constantly. And that's it. When they're voting against these policies, when they're voting against, what was in the Queen's speech, etc., it's that chip. And eventually, 6 months down the road, probably, or even if he lasts another 12 months, there will be a general election next year. And before that, they'll oust him and get a new leader in.
Yeah, they cannot go into a general election with a prime minister with their leader so incredibly unpopular. Nikki says here over on Gettr, all my normie friends support Boris. That's the problem, Nikki. But a lot of normies also think, but he probably lies. I don't think. I think Boris is, unfortunately, his reputation is finally caught up with him. Now, Vivian, I agree with your comment, by the way. Trilateral Commission member Sir Keir Starmer is rubbing his hands with glee. Oh, I get that. I fully understand.
But can I just bring up a point, actually? Because I heard Beer Starmer or Beer Cormer this morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was commenting that the government has been distracted over Partygate, blah, 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 on and on and on. They're distracted. They're not doing what the country needs. We've got a living crisis, etc. But why have Boris been distracted? Because Labour and actually anybody that wasn't a Conservative at the beginning was constantly badgering about Partygate. But actually, have you heard today, and have you seen it reported, that not only did Keir Starmer have a party in Durham, but he also had one at the Labour headquarters.
Yeah,
which was again shut down. But that's not being reported because that doesn't need to be, because the media want Boris out. Because what they want is Brexit stopped. They want full illegal immigration made law, so we can be invaded. That's what they want.
Yeah, but our friend Ricky on the YouTube, Jed, makes the point, and this is a good point as well, which I know you'll get, that Boris allowed 30 to 40 Brexit saboteuring MPs to stand for re-election, and he did. And now he's paying the price because those 30 to 40 are the sort of people that you've just said would like to bring us back into the European Union. I think that's a really good point. Yeah. Well, look, folks.
I think that comment, and I think it's very valid, and I think it's the only comment that fits. And it was true. Dead man walking.
Dead man walking.
3 miles. That's it. Dead man walking.
So look, folks. We're going to finish in a second. We've got a video we'll play out on, which Jed's going to stick up in a second. But before we get to that, so just the summary position of tonight is that Boris Johnson has survived the no confidence vote, but just about, with 41% of his own colleagues voting against him, asking him to stand down. If you do enjoy the content, buy me a coffee. There's a link below if you want to do that. Or if you want to drop $1 or £1 in the donor box, there's a link below to do that as well. Don't forget the daily podcasts. They come out every day. All those daily podcasts for your entertainment. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. So
can I just set this up then, David, for our play out if you're ready?
Yep.
Right, guys, over the weekend, you know where I live. I live in the sunshine state of Lancashire, and more precisely in Morecambe by the sea. Now, on Sunday, Morecambe went to set a world record of the biggest and longest picnic table lunch for the Jubilee. And here we go. I've highlighted it there. Morecambe had more than 5,000 people sat down to lunch at an event as part of the big Jubilee lunch celebrations in honour of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, with thousands more turning up to enjoy the proceedings. So we broke a record at the weekend. And to play out with, it's a just over a 2-minute video. The tables were laid length end to end, and they spanned 2.5 kilometers along the promenade in Morecambe. So I'm going to play out with that video, and if you want to say your thanks and good nights to everybody, David, and then I'll finish with that video.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna play on the video now. We're gonna go run the video, and thanks everybody for wherever you are for watching on this historic night with Boris Johnson just about surviving, but I think fatally injured. Thanks very much, everybody. Cue the Morecambe video.